Hey, greetings and welcome to part 2 of the Getting Started series for asset utilization with GradientOne. In the first video, we walked through the basic steps required to get an instrument set up for tracking by the GradientOne cloud platform. In this video, we're going to dig a little deeper into what to look for, how to view some of the data, and understand what it's telling you. One minor change between part 1 of the video and part 2 is I renamed this particular instrument the 600 megahertz scope just to give it a little bit more specificity for our purposes here. So let's dig in deeper on this particular instrument. And what you would want to do is you would go to the Insights page. The Insights page is where you would have the aggregated summary of all the different assets in your organization that's reporting utilization data. And we give you the ability to add columns to organize it a little bit better. So you can do things like organize it by lab, see which ones are in use or not. A couple of things to keep in mind. There are 3 states of an instrument: offline, idle, and in use. Offline means it's offline. We're not getting any data from it. It's not reporting any usage metrics. Idle means it's reported as online, but it's not in use. In use means that the CPU is over 20%. And based off of customer trials, feedback, and some analysis of the data we have in our own lab, typically 20% is a good metric of CPU, meaning that probes are connected, the scope is doing something, whatever it's doing, crunching numbers, analyzing measurements, acquiring data, it's currently being used in that particular snapshot. So this scope is set up, it is in use. We have it connected to a demo board where it's collecting data and kind of running some analysis of it. This was also in the San Francisco lab, and that's helpful because if you have multiple labs inside your organization, you can easily see which instruments in which lab are being used more heavily, more lightly, and you can repurpose those to other labs where they may have an instrument that's kind of running hot and you need some more capacity. So let's drill down further into this particular instrument. The default view here is 7 days. Since we just set this up today on May 17th, we want to look at the last 24 hours. And this again will kind of give you the detailed view. On the 24-hour view, it'll give you a breakdown on an hourly basis. And it will also kind of give you a pie chart and CPU utilization. So I set this up this morning. It booted up kind of in an idle state. That's what the blue is. And primarily in use. I set it up right away. I have it connected to a circuit. It's running kind of nonstop, 7 to 8, 8 to 9. And that's kind of representative of the accurate view of what we're seeing with this particular instrument. The pie chart is a quick breakdown. So imagine you have an instrument, you want to kind of get an overall view of, well, how heavily used is this thing? The pie chart gives you that breakdown. And then you have the utilization as a CPU. And this is what is driving our utilization metrics. We're reporting on that particular CPU. And then it gives you a breakdown on an hourly basis. And past 24 hours, we booted up kind of midpoint at the 7 o'clock hour. It's been running nonstop at the 8 o'clock hour, and then at the 9 o'clock hour, we're just kind of in the middle of that, and it's collecting data as we speak. So as you go down this process of getting these instruments set up, you'll be able to organize the data as you see fit. If you want to organize all of your scopes and see which scopes are heavily utilized, you can do that. If you want to view it by labs, you can do that, or overall geography. And this helps engineers and lab managers better optimize a very capitally intensive aspect of your business, which is you're building product, you're shipping product, you need to characterize it and test it. That means you need to make investments in thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment, or even millions of dollars worth of equipment. This gives you the tools to easily see what's being used, to forecast more appropriately in the future, and make decisions that are better aligned with your operating needs. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.